Okay, so this week we got at our fruit and veg stand, we got some yellow beets. I love beets so much. And the yellow ones are a real treat. So I grabbed a bunch of yellow ones while I could. They're super ripe. Like I need to eat these in 24 hours. I got a few of the, they're not the Honey Crisp. They're the Cosmic Crisp, which are supposed to be sweeter than Honey Crisp. Great, let's try it. So I just got a few of those for snacks this week. I got this gorgeous tomato because I could not resist the color. I have some beautiful homegrown tomatoes in my fridge, but I couldn't resist that one because of the color. And I had just had a caprese salad at a restaurant right before I walked into the produce stand, and it was done with the tomato like that. So I had to get it. I got some zucchini because I've been really wanting some zucchini to grate and freeze so that I could add it to some soups or anything I was making. I don't need to hide veggies for myself. I like the taste of veggies. I like the taste of zucchini. But it can add a little bit of kind of thickening to something you're making. And also it's an extra veg, which is always good. The more diverse and number of vegetables you can add to your food, the better. The better for your microbiome and your gut, just better in general for nutrients. It also adds a kind of a layered flavoring that can make, whichever you're eating taste a little more complex and a little good. So I really wanted to try this and see if it made a difference. So I'm going to grate these up and freeze them and just add like a handful, like when I do my sloppy Joe mix, just add a handful or something like that. And then I got a bunch of sweet potatoes because I love sweet potatoes. I love them more than regular potatoes. And actually this is a sweet potato, believe it or not. It just is a funny shaped one. And so I tend to eat those where someone might normally eat a potato. I love them mashed, especially with beef or pork. I love them baked or whatever I can do. I really like them. I like the flavor better than regular potatoes. Regular potatoes are great. I would say people who are afraid of the starch and the carb that potatoes bring don't, because they bring a lot of nutrients and they help fill you up. I just prefer sweet potatoes. I just like the taste better. They give a little extra added punch of vitamin C. I do eat them with the skins on when I can because it increases the fiber. Now the stand I go to has real vegetables coming in from local farms. So the owners of the veg stand either have them delivered or they go out to the farm themselves and the nearby farms, and they pick these up. So these are like homegrown. So like this one I might not eat with the skin because the skin's showing a little wear and tear. This potato might have scrabbled a little in life. That's fine. This one I won't eat with the skin. This one's got a beautiful skin. I'll absolutely eat with the skin. So this is what, if this feels like a pretty tame week because I already had a plan for everything, but I also have a really busy week coming up. I'm starting a new role at work. And so just knowing that my attention and my time might be divided, I'm trying to go a little easier on myself. I can prepare some things ahead of time for meals. So cooking and mealtime isn't quite a burden. I have my snacks ready. I have a kind of some extra healthy treats, so I'll feel better about what I'm eating. So this is actually a really good selection for me for this week. So first, I think I need to do is I need to wash my veggies. And what I do is you can use baking soda. There's a lot of things. I happen to have this because I saw someone else try it, and I was just really curious. And so you're supposed to put about a capful. I'm not very careful sometimes. Also, you'll notice, hey, I got some dirty dishes in my sink. I have to empty the dishwasher. That's real life, right? So I'll fill this up. This might not work. I'm going to try it. So I'm going to do the sweet potatoes first. Yeah, see, that's not going to work for sweet potatoes. They need to just go right into the pan. So I'm going to put them in here, and they'll sit for about 5 minutes. Okay, so everything's been washed. Now I'm ready to process them. I've kind of got the tools I need to finish processing. So the tomato will be cut up into a tomato, cucumber, corn salad. The zucchini's going to get grated and frozen. So I've got my grater. I thought about doing it in the food processor, but it's only 3, so we're going to try it by hand. And then the beets, I'm going to go ahead and peel and put in here to steam. I like to steam my beets. And actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm not even going to peel them because I know with their red cousins, I simply steam them like this, and then the skins come right off. So I'm going to put them just like this. They're clean in the steamer. I'm going to steam them until they're done, which is when I stick a fork in it, it goes right in. It's tender. And then I'm going to just kind of pull off the skins, which is what I don't know if yellow is different than the red, but that's what I'm going to try. Worst case scenario, they have to cool after they cook, and then I peel them. Okay, the beets are on the stove. Let's take care of our zucchini. Now, the first thing I'm going to do while I'm thinking about it, and before I have anything in the bag and it makes it hard, I'm going to go ahead and write the label for this. So, grated zucchini. And this is September. Already it's September. Okay. I freeze a lot of veggies for my convenience because I don't love cooking. Actually, I don't love it. And I'm lazy and I'm tired at night. So that's always the time when my good intentions kind of go out the window. So what I have learned to do from much better planners and cookers than me is I do things like I dice up a bunch of onions and I put those, well, I dice and I slice, and I'll put them in baggies. I'll double bag them because they can be very potent smelling. And I'll put those in the freezer. Isn't it so nice that when I need to throw or want to throw some onion in with some ground beef I might be browning, it's there, and it does great. I do the same thing with bell peppers because I love bell peppers and I love adding bell peppers to a lot of things. But I don't feel like chopping them. I never feel like chopping them. I just want to the most I want to do is throw things in a pot and eat it. And so this is something I do a lot, freezing for convenience. It's just the kind of thing that works for me, that helps me achieve any kind of real healthy eating. And so other people, bless you, if you love to cook and you love the process of like chopping and stuff, you're so lucky, because I hate it, and it honestly has prevented me from eating healthy at times. Just laziness. But this is something that doesn't usually bother me, just sitting down and doing a bunch of onions. Like I'll just sit down with the TV, chop a bunch of onions, either with a knife or I've got one of those, vegetable smasher things. And I'll just do that. So I'm gonna actually leave the peel on. It's clean, extra fiber. I like the flavor. I don't think it tastes bad. So I'm just gonna start grating like this. And that's working out very nicely. You can see some beautiful grated zucchini. So I'm just going to keep doing that till I get all 3 grated. Okay, I've grated the 3 zucchini. I think it's taken me less than 10 minutes. You can see it's a little messier than grating cheese because it's very wet. But it's not. There's no hardship. I just had to stop once in a while and kind of brush off the grated zucchini into the little bowl here, and then put it in the bag. Let's get all of it, as much as possible. Looks gorgeous. This is one of the things that's really nice about eating something that's seasonal and fresh from the ground. It's a better product. And I'm not besmirching things we get in the grocery store, because I will continue to buy things in the grocery store. I have my Costco order in right now, and I ordered some golden kiwi and can't wait for it to get here. But if I have an option, I like to check my produce stand first and see what's in season and get that first, and then the rest I can fill in. The rest is kind of a luxury. But this is special now. So, okay. So one trick I'm going to tell you, this is hard. Oh, actually, I'm not done yet. What I was going to do was I was going to chop up the nubbins real fine and put that in. And it occurred to me, if I hadn't cut off the little root end, I wouldn't have nubbins to deal with. So I think that's a lesson learned for next time. So I'm just going to chop this up fine. Oh, it's such a nice zucchini. I can't even tell you how lovely it looks. I mean, just look at that. How lovely it looks. It just looks really good. It feels good and fresh. I know it's going to taste amazing. I'm very excited to have this as kind of an additive to things because I think it's going to lend some beautiful flavor, certainly some nutrients. So I'm stoked. And this was a super easy chore. This was, if I had a bunch more, if I was feeding a family instead of just myself, then I would have just grated it with the food processor and then, easy peasy again. A nice easy cleanup. It's wet and a little sticky because it's wet, but it's still a very easy cleanup. So let me just put those in there. And the little pieces just want to go everywhere but in the bag. Oh, there we go. Don't know why the left hand is working better for that. Okay, so this is my tip. Some of you have probably totally figured it out. I'm not as smart. So when I go to close the Ziploc, and I close it mostly, this is not the tip, by the way. The tip is get it as flat as possible. Get it as flat as possible. Not only does that help get the air out, which I'll get the air out now, so now there's no air in there, but if I freeze it as flat as possible, not only does it store better in my freezer because it's not taking up very much space, but because this is the kind of food item that I'm going to just want to grab a bit of, when it's frozen, but it's flat like this, it's really easy for me to just reach in the bag and break off a little chunk. And then I have it. If I had frozen this in like a big wad with the bag on the end, it's really hard to break off however much you want. So every time I freeze something, I freeze it super flat. If it's ground beef, I freeze it super flat because then it defrosts really quickly. But all my onions and my peppers, there's still a little bit of air in here, but all my onions and peppers and stuff that I freeze for convenience for cooking, freeze super, super flat because then I can just reach in and grab the handful I want. So that's going to go in the freezer. One of the ways to keep your bag really flat in the freezer, if you're like mine, your freezer's kind of overstuffed, is you can put it right on a little sheet pan like this. Once it's frozen, then you can take this out and the bag is in its shape that it's in. And but that helps keep it super flat. And again, like I said, makes it much easier to grab what you want later on. So let's just do a little bit of cleanup before we cut up our tomatoes. The beets just came to a boil. That's how quick the zucchini grating chore was. That's super convenient. I'm always looking for super convenient and easy. So that's great. So let's look at this. Oh, gorgeous tomato. Gorgeous tomato. And I'm just going to use this, I think, for a tomato and cucumber and corn salad, kind of a summer salad. It just sounds really, really good. I'm going to try a little tahini dressing with it this time, though, because I was watching something, and I know this to be true, that fermented foods are really good for your microbiome. And you're probably like, why is she obsessed with their microbiome? Well, I just watched Hacking Your Health not too long ago. So interesting, on Netflix. Based on a book called Gut by Dr. Juliana Enders. I can put a link below, but it was so interesting and it really rang true for me because it answered a lot of questions I had about my own personal health. And so one of the big takeaways is, hey, eat a lot of diverse foods. Well, I can do that. That sounds like fun, actually. That's no chore. So, and also, vary your vegetables. You want as diverse a group of vegetables as possible. Well, also, that can be a lot of fun, too. So, hence why I'm visiting my produce stand regularly, seeing what's in season. and picking up, I'm going to make this kind of small because I want good coverage with the dressing. Picking up what's in season and what tastes good and what may be different and trying new things. They didn't have a lot of new things for me to try. They had some fennel, which I have tried and I like. Oh, roasted fennel is so good. But it didn't look as good as I wanted to look. So I don't know if fennel's kind of starting to go out of season, or if that fennel had been there a little while. So I opted not to get the fennel this time. We'll see. If they have some better fennel next time, I'm totally getting it because roasted fennel is really, really tasty. So let's just chop this up. And this is just, isn't it just beautiful? I mean, look at, I can't get over how gorgeous it is. And I have a deeply held bias that beautiful food is better for you. I don't know if that's true. It might be a little bit true because they talk about colorful veggies being good for you. But I can't help it. It just looks like it's going to be so healthy and tasty. And I love tomato and cucumber together. It's really, really good. So when you're looking for, I'm kind of on a health journey, which is, I know everyone says that, but I ate pretty healthy always. I'm not a big sweets person. I like sweets. I certainly like chocolate. I'm not a, there's not, nothing wrong with people who don't like chocolate, but I'm not crazy. I love chocolate. But I love veggies. I've always loved veggies. It was never a thing in my family. My mom never had to make us eat our veggies and make us eat 3 bites. We always loved it. So eating veggies is no hardship for me. I know for some people, they're not crazy about it. Maybe it wasn't something you did as kids. You didn't develop a taste for it. Certainly, I think, and I get really crabby about this, I think restaurants, even some very good restaurants, do a terrible job with veggies. A terrible job. Most of the time, when you get a veggie side in a restaurant, in kind of a regular restaurant, it's these awful zucchini and squash just steamed till they're limp and lifeless. And sometimes they don't even have seasoning on them. And so they're completely tasteless. And of course you're not going to eat them. And of course you're going to think, yuck, I don't like veggies. So I mean, I get that because I think restaurants have been really guilty of not treating their veggies good. Now I say that, and there's a restaurant here in the Portland area called Ox, and they do the most amazing maple carrot dish. I mean, with goat cheese. It is to die for. I mean, it is so unbelievably good. So not everyone does that, but some do. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, especially if you're like, I'm not crazy about vegetables. Well, you know what? Let's try. There's a million different ways to do vegetables. Just so many different ways. So if I can give you some ideas for some nummy different ways to eat veg, great. I think it's important, find the veg you like. You don't have to like tomato like I do. You don't have to like cucumber like I do. You certainly don't have to like anything I do. I think if you want to eat healthier, you should kind of honor and acknowledge what you like and don't like. Because what you may find, especially if you're a little creative and try things out, is there are going to be some things that you love. And you're like, how did I live without this? Like, how did I live without roasted fennel? I didn't want to try it because it smells like licorice and I don't like licorice. But I did try it because people had said it's really, really good roasted. It doesn't taste like licorice. And boy, they were right. It's very tasty. I also recently tried radishes, roasted radishes. Now, I don't like radishes at all. And we're talking about your kind of bog standard red radishes that, just the typical radishes you see. I don't like them at all, raw, at all. So the idea of I would like them roasted was kind of like, meh, I don't like radishes. But someone kept insisting. Actually, I'm not even going to say someone. If you've ever watched Jamerrill Stewart, she's someone I really enjoy watching on YouTube. I'll link her site below. She has a bunch of kids. She's a huge family, so she does giant amounts of cooking, which clearly I don't do because I'm just feeding myself. But I still enjoy Jamerrill a lot. And anyway, she's the one that was saying, hey, roasted radishes are like, kind of taste like potatoes. And so I thought, all right, well, I'll try it, And so I was roasting a chicken, so I threw in some radishes in the bottom of the pot, like Jamerrill does. And she's right. They're very tasty. I will absolutely 100% do those good. And I don't mean like, oh, I can stand them now. I mean, like, no, they're really good. And they were really good cooked with the chicken like that because the chicken, made its own little broth. So they were basically cooked in the chicken broth. Oh, so good. So definitely look for different creative ways to prepare veg. You might find that while you absolutely can't stand radishes, roasted radishes are great. And you 100% will keep it on hand now just to roast radishes. And that's just a great way to just start adding more and more veg into your diet. Great for fiber, great for your nutrients in general, help fill you up. And if you're trying to, if you're on a kind of a calorie restricted diet like I am, you really depend on the fiber and the protein to fill you up so that you're not just starving. You don't need to. Being on a calorie deficit does not need to be a horrible experience. It honestly doesn't. And this was, I think, the big aha for me this time, this time of dieting, so to speak. I have certainly tried in the past and been absolutely miserable and uncomfortable and lightheaded, foggy. I mean, you name it. Clearly, I was mucking around with my blood sugar. Sorry, I'm having to wipe down the front of my cabinets because lovely juicy tomatoes. And there's even zucchini on the front of the cabinet. So, oops. So yeah. Let's get some cucumber in here. Well, my cucumber were moldy. So I waited a little too long for those. I'll see if I can get some in the next 24 hours because this is ready to go now. I do have this leftover bag of fire roasted corn frozen. I know I'm talking about the beauty and value of fresh veg, and I still stand by that, but frozen veggies are really healthy and good. So if you don't have a produce stand near you, you haven't found it yet, no worries. You can stick with frozen until you find either the produce stand in your area, the community supported agriculture boxes, CSA boxes. That's another fabulous, great resource for fresh seasonal food. Farmers markets are really good for that too. But if you don't have anything, if you're kind of in a food desert, and a lot of people are in a food desert, frozen veggies are great. Go for it. Do the frozen veggies. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. In fact, you'll have a little more freedom about what you want to try and what you don't want to try. So this corn and this tomato is going to be fabulous together. It's going to be so good, especially with a little tahini dressing. I really want to get some cucumber in there. But if I don't get cucumber in the next 24 hours, because this really needs to be eaten now, then I'll eat it like this. This is fine. This is great. So let's check in on the radishes. Peeling beets is pretty easy. Really, the skins will just start to slide off as you run your thumb over it. Because these were kind of homegrown and maybe there was a few spots that were a little stubborn, I had a knife and I didn't really have to peel them much. I wasn't taking much beet off with the skin, but just using the knife to kind of get under the skin that didn't want to just peel right off. But these are really easy to just steam. Those skins usually just come right off, and it's super, super easy to prepare. Okay, let's go ahead and cut this up. Our golden beets, gorgeous golden beets. And I'm just going to do bite-sized chunks. There's not much more processing that's going to happen with these, other than, making it delicious with some vinegar or just some butter, salt, and pepper. So don't want to go too small. Here's a great example of a little thing that need to be cut off. I'll just put them in here. And we're just having these along with some steaks. I'm hanging out with Mom at her house because she wants to be more confident in using her air fryer. So we're just going to hang out Saturday and air fry like all our food so I can show her how easy it is. I like my air fryer. It's not my favorite, I think, appliance is my slow cooker. It always has been. I love my slow cooker. I love slow cooking. It's the ultimate easy one pot thing. But she wants to be more confident about air frying things. So I'm having her get a couple of filet mignons. And those, I've always had great luck using the air fryer for those. And we're also going to air fry a sweet potato and a baked potato. She loves baked potatoes. I think I've already explained I prefer sweet potatoes. So we're just going to do both so I can show her how easy those are. And then we kind of wanted another veg. And when I got these at the produce stand, I was like, excellent. And we're going to have beets. So these are going to go in the fridge until tomorrow. And I think they're going to be excellent with beef and a nice starchy vegetable. You know, I mentioned before, I was trying to really change the way I eat, and that I'm working on a calorie deficit because I need to lose weight. And this process has worked really, really good for me. I'm eating very fresh, cooking for myself more, paying attention to my fiber and protein. So far this year, I'm down over 70 pounds. So again, this works for me. You should definitely, if weight loss is something you're interested in doing, definitely talk to your doctor. Be judicious, which is funny I say this in a YouTube channel, but I stand by it. Be judicious about the advice you take online. There's a lot of people out there who are more interested in selling their product than actually educating you on healthy eating. I have some resources that I trust. I'll share them in the description here, but in general, I'd say be very careful. So I wanted to go back to the zucchini, the frozen zucchini. And so this is a resource I use when I'm looking up how to freeze or how to process any kind of vegetable or fruit for freezing. So this is a great resource, and they have a whole section especially for freezing zucchini. They talk about, you know, it's great to freeze. A little warning about baked goods because it's kind of wet. We saw that when I was grating it. But they talk about soups and sauces and that it's really good and it's going to be a little wet, but don't worry, that's nutritious also. And putting them like in meatballs, meatloaf, fritters, and quiche, where you might want to get rid of some of the liquid. Also, it talks about how well they freeze in freezer bags, but also you can put them in a little silicone muffin tin, and then you know you have like half a cup of zucchini. Great idea. I didn't bother doing that because I was just going to grab a handful, but that's something to think about. And this is another book that I really like. You can tell because it's got crud all over it because it has been in the kitchen with me a lot. But it's very, very helpful. And they have a really nice chart here on freezing vegetables. Let's see if I can get this. So freezing vegetables, and it's a really great chart that kind of goes down with artichoke, asparagus, corn, eggplant. It gets down to zucchini. And they say some of the preparation is to wash and shred, slice, or cube. They also recommend blanching zucchini a little bit before you freezing it. And one of the reasons for this is that some foods have an enzyme where they will continue to deteriorate a little bit even after you freeze it. They freeze well, they do well. But if you're going to really keep them for a length of time, so if you have a big family and you have a giant harvest of zucchini from your garden, and so you would like to freeze it to use throughout the year, then you should blanch it for 2 to 3 minutes or steam them for 2 to 3 minutes before you freeze it. just to make sure that enzyme is killed and that it stays good. I know I'm going to use this up pretty quickly, so I didn't do that. But by doing the blanching, you can keep it for like up to a year. Without the blanching, it stores for only about 2 to 3 months. I know I'm going to use it before that. I know I'm going to use big handfuls and stuff. So just to keep in mind, this is a great resource. It helps you identify the foods you might need to do a little extra. So like peas, they also want you to blanch a little before you freeze it. Super easy. I don't know if blanching, you just throw it in boiling water for a little bit. And this even actually gives you the method of blanching. So it has boil blanching, steam blanching, microwave blanching. For boil blanching, they just say bring water to a rapid boil, add your vegetables, allow the water to return to a boil, and they've been clocking the specific amount of time. So I would have boiled water, thrown in the zucchini, waited till it was at a boil again, and then timed it 2 to 3 minutes. As it is, I'm good. I know I'm going to use mine up very quickly, but it's also, that's why you put the date on your veggie bag. So you know when you did it and you know when you have to use it up. So that's our progress for today. Thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you next time we get veggies.